Hari and Lakshmi Narasimhadev temple. So this center is like a extension center of that temple, Maharaj.
I see.
Yes, Maharaj.
Well, happy to be with you today. Very auspicious today. Well, every day is very auspicious in Krishna consciousness. Especially today is the disappearance day of Srila Baladev Vidya Bhusan, the appearance day of Ganga Mata Goswamini, and also the appearance day of Ganga, the river Ganga. So we can discuss these three topics. And also, you mentioned tomorrow is a big day for tapasya, especially for those devotees who follow Ekadasis. There's about 24 Ekadasis in the whole year. And tomorrow is a special Ekadasi, as for those who missed or somehow they broke Ekadasis without knowingly or knowingly. Tomorrow is Pandab Nirjal Ekadasi. Bhima, especially Bhima, Pandab Nirjal Ekadasi. So we will discuss that. And in the meantime, can I chant this prayer of Saparshada Bhagavat Viraha Janita Bilapa, means lamentation due to separation from the Lord and his associates. This is a song sung by Narottam Das Thakur in his Prarthana compilation of books. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj.
Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prachur Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prachur Eno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasara Gunata Pati Tapavan Kaha Mora Bata Juga Kaha Kavira Eka Kale Kota Gela Gorana Tara Pasane Koti Bomata Anale Pashibo Goranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pavo Sesaba Sangira Sange Je Koilo Vila Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Gopinata Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Shrimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Tramani Prabhupada Sasaitamya Prabhasha Vitirja Pacharam Kriva Sarvat Pate Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Om Agyanantirandasya Gyanangyana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayang Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Scha Sirupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kipashindu Vyaevacha Patitanang pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today is very auspicious day. Today is disappearance day of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, one of the acharyas in our line of disciplic succession. And also today is the appearance day of Ganga Mata Goswamini, and also Ganga Puja, and also today is Father's Day. The whole world is celebrating Father's Day today, even though for us every day is a Father's Day. As it says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the seed-giving father of every living entities, moving and non-moving entities. That means Lord Krishna. So I am Bhagavan. Today is Dasami. Very, very special day because today the appearance of Ganga. First, let's discuss about Ganga. Ganga, she is the water, the body of water that came from the celestial sky, the coastal ocean, when Vamanadev, when he asked 3 steps of land from Bali Maharaj, being a Brahmana and a very, very beautiful boy, attractive young boy. Vamana means like dwarf. He is the dwarf incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And at the time, there is a sacrificial yagya. There's a yagya going on. Bali Maharaj would like to please the Supreme Lord by performing yagya and also his forefathers and for the benefit of everyone. So Vamana, suddenly he came and he's so attractive, it's so beautiful that Bali Maharaj, this is usually the custom or the tradition that when a Brahmana comes, you should give him certain types of gifts. And so he asked Vamana Dev, is there anything I can do for you? I would like to offer you a gift. Ask me anything, whatever you like. So Vamana says, I just want 3 steps of land. 3 steps of land. So he was surprised. Bali Maharaj was surprised. Only 3 steps of land, and it's a dwarf. I mean, very small, like a 5-year-old boy. So what will be the 3 steps of land can accommodate 3 paces, steps of land? It's not much, really, especially for a young boy. Says, ask whatever you like, even my kingdom. Says, no, 3 steps of land is good enough. It's like a greedy person. You can give him the whole world, but he will still not be satisfied. So Vamana is satisfied. So when he first put his feet or the foot, he covered half of the universe. And then the second step, he fears the covering of the universe, that from the celestial or the coastal ocean, this body of water gush coming inside our universe. So today is the birthday or descent of Mother Ganga. This is Dussehra. Usually Ganga, they celebrate Ganga Puja. This is the culmination for 10 days, starting from the Amavasya, dark moon night, and it's going through the Dasami. Today is the 10th phase of the moon. And also today is Pandab Nirjal Ekadasi. So this festival is very, very famous all over India, especially in UP, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Bengal, and throughout wherever the river flows. And Ganga flows all over the planet Earth. She has many names like Bhagirathi. It's like when we chant this, Om Ganga Cha Yamuna Chaiba Godavari Narmedi Sindhu Kaveri. These are all different names. Kalindi. She has almost like a pinkish color, dark also at the same time. Just like this Yamuna also is none other than Ganga. Ganga, when you utter the name Ganga and when you take bath in Ganga, you get so much purification that thousands of people, they prefer to live just by the banks of the river Ganges or Ganga so that they can take bath as many times as possible. And anyone who takes bath in her water, Ganga, sins, hips and hips of many, many lifetimes of the sinful reaction has been washed away, especially today. A bathe in the river is said to purify the bather or one who will take bath of all sins. And therefore, Ganga is very revered all over India. And Ganga also flows even in the nether regions. So she came especially to save the conditioned souls. That's why one of her names is Patita Pavani. Patita Pavani. One whose mercy, whose compassion is to save the fallen conditioned souls. According to the legend, there is this King Sagar of the Ikshvaku dynasty, and he was ruling Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh, and he had two queens, and these two queens named Keshani and Sumati. So neither of them have a child, but somehow King Sagar, he performed some tapasya. Tapasya is very important, especially in the human form of life. There is this verse from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the teachings of Lord Rishabdev. Nayam deho deha bhajam niloke kastan kaman arhate vidbujaye tapo divyam putraka yena satvam sudyed yasmad brahma sokyam tu anantam. Lord Rishabdev, he used to rule the entire planet, and he told his sons, my dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form of life should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is also available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified. And when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So yes, there is a purpose of human form of life, to inquire about the absolute, and to attain that, we have to perform tapasya. And the topmost tapasya in this day and age is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Tapasya is the king of sadhana and the king of austerity, especially in the age of Kali. Harirnam, Harirnam, Harirnama Ivaikevalam, Kalona Steva Nasteva, Nasteva Gatir Anyata. So King Sagar, he performed austerity, so he can have two, from his two wives, he can produce sons. And it says here that Keshani gave birth to a son called Asmajas, and Sumati bore 60,000 sons. He performed Ashvamedha sacrifice, and before this, usually the Ashvamedha sacrifice, you have this white horse that will travel all over the different places, different kingdoms, and the kings, they will pay tax. And if they don't, then there'll be a battle, there'll be a war. So yes, according to this story, the sacrificial horse, they let loose the sacrificial horse, but somehow or other, the 60,000 sons of Sagara, they were following the horse. And they saw the horse entering the ashram of Kapila. Kapila Dev. And somehow or other, not seeing the horse in the cavern, they presumed that Kapila had captured Sagara, who is on the horse. And time passed, and later Bhagirath, the great grandson of Sagara, chanced to come across the bones of the dead ancestors. Somehow all those 60,000, they also get burned. They died. So he wanted to perform a severe austerity, and Bhagirath prayed to Brahma, because when he saw the bones, he tried to figure out how they can be survived. They can revive. And so Lord Brahma says that the only way how you can revive them is by requesting the Supreme Lord to come and to allow this torrential, that means very, very severe, very strong water coming from the heavenly planets, the Ganga. So this was fulfilled when Lord Vamanadev pierced that coverings of the universe. And then, of course, because of this very heavy rush, the gush coming from the celestial sky through the covering of our universe, it went to different planetary systems first, to Swargaloka, to the heavenly planets. And then before reaching our earthly planet, then if the gush or the rush of Ganga will not be stopped or break or broken, then somehow the earth will crack into two pieces. So to save us, Lord Shiva, he saved us by the matted lack of hair. He used this to break the big rush of the Ganga. And that's why we can see there is also this part of Ganga water on the head of Lord Shiva. And also the the Ganga, even before that, the 9 Yogendras, Nava Yogendras in their planet, the heavenly planets also, they somehow they stop a little bit, but it's not enough. So yes, Ganga descended to the earth on Ganga Dussehra, that means today, and holy bath and his water today is very, very auspicious, is very purifying. But somehow, if some of you are not able to do it, even if you have Ganga Jal, somehow, usually those devotees or Vaishnavas or Hindus, they usually collect Ganga Jal from Ganga, whenever they can go and visit Ganga, and they will keep them to help in their puja, or they use this also if the person is about to die, they will put Ganga Jal. So you can have few drops of this and sprinkle onto your head, and in this way, this will also have the same effect. And if you don't have Ganga Jal, you can just say the name Ganga, 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 and that is also purifying. That will have the same. And for those who are near Yamuna, Yamuna is more powerful than Ganga, like 100 times more. Why? Because Ganga passes through Vrindavan, and then it becomes Yamuna, because this is where Lord Krishna performed his Leela 5,000 years ago, along with his cowherd boyfriends and cowherd girlfriends. So it becomes more powerful. It touches more the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord. Yes, Ganga is supposed to be the daughter of the Himalayas, because that is the origin of Ganga, Ganga Sagar. And she is also sister of goddess Mina, daughter of the Himalayas and goddess Mina. So according to the Puranas, the heavenly Ganga flows from Vishnu's toe, and Ganga sometimes assumed a human form. She's very beautiful. So that means the father and the mother, Himalaya and goddess Mina, yes. And she is, most of the times, she is portrayed as a very beautiful woman, and she is also being carried by a crocodile. And King Shantanu, she's married. Ganga is married to King Shantanu and was the mother of Bhishma, grandsire of the warring Pandavas and Kaurava clans. So there's so much things about River Ganga, especially in the 17th chapter of the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The story of the descent of River Ganges is also narrated, and Srila Prabhupada gave very nice explanation, purports on these different texts. It says there also that Ganga, you get purified externally and internally. Even the scientists, they did a test in their laboratory, because sometimes Ganga, there are places where there's so many bubbles, and also some dead corpses you can find, especially recently with this COVID pandemic. There are hundreds of floating dead bodies in Ganga they found. But Ganga is always pure. Even though if you put Ganga in a container, usually if you put some water in a container, after some time it becomes slimy and it will have color of green. But no, it's always pure, it's always antiseptic. Usually those who take bath in Ganga, they don't use soap for their body, because there's no need of soap. You're purified by her water, and also internally the heart becomes cleansed. So the next one I would like to mention here is Gangamata Goswamini. So Gangamata Goswamini, in the first place, her name is not Gangamata Goswamini. She is a princess. Her name is Sachi Devi, and she is daughter of King Naresh, Narayana of Bengal. And she has so much devotion, unalloyed, unmotivated devotion towards Lord Krishna, that she even refused to get married. For her, Krishna is her husband. So after her father passed away, she ruled the kingdom. She inherited the kingdom and she ruled the kingdom. But then, usually the devotees are like this, or those who are rulers and they are saintly in characters. They're called Raja Risi, saintly kings. That after some time, because of their purity, they knew when to give up the kingdom. They knew when to give up the material attachments. Of course, they don't have any material attachments, but they knew that it's time for them to retire. So Princess Sachi, she met her guru, Sri Haridas Pandit, who is a leading guru in Vrindavan, Haridas Pandit. And she began worshipping Govindaji. Govindaji is the deity of Srila Rupa Goswami. Just like in Jaipur, Govindaji, everyone worships, everyone before they go to work and after their work, everyone will have darshan of Govindaji. So Govindaji is very, very beautiful, is very attractive. And so Sachi Devi, she devote her life continuously throughout her life to Govindaji. She practically don't own anything. She doesn't have any wealth. She gave them all up. She gave all of her servants, and she just want to worship Govindaji. And because of her austerities, again, she was so frail. She practically doesn't eat at all. Very, very minimal. Just like the Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. He says that they only take buttermilk. Sometimes they even forget to eat because they were so absorbed. So Sachi Devi also, she's like this, and she would sleep in the banks of Yamuna, the sandy banks of Yamuna, and she will stay there, and then before sunrise, she will get up to serve Govindaji. She will go to Govinda temple. So daily she would hear Bhagavad Katha, see Govindaji's artik, and circumambulate Shri Radha Shyama Sundar Lila stands. That means different places where the Supreme Lord and his confidential associates, the gopis, will perform their pastimes like Bamshibat, Shevakunj, Niduvan, Rasastali. So if great personalities, they do this, they perform austerities, they have their own sadhana, even though they are beyond sadhana, or rules and regulations, but to show us example how to attain love of God. We should also follow in their footsteps, especially the grihastas. They should have their own programs at home, because attaining love of Godhead, we cannot do it. We cannot attain it without following the prescribed method mentioned by the spiritual master or the acharyas, or from the sastra, or from the Supreme Lord himself, because the sastras, they are words emanating from the Supreme Lord. So we have to perform sadhana, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, following the 4 regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, prescribed number of rounds. Gangamata Mataji, or Goswamini, she would chant 300,000 times the name of the Lord, like Haridas Thakur. 3 lakhs. 3 lakhs. So, again, this is the nature of the disciple. She would follow the instructions as much as possible. The instructions coming from the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciple, that her guru suggested she went to Radhakund. Radhakund in Vrindavan is the topmost place. There is a pond of water, reservoir of water there, where the water is none different than Srimati Radharani, liquid praying. And that Radhakund was discovered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was traveling to Vrindavan 500 years ago. It used to be named Aristagram, where the Aristasura was killed by Lord Krishna. And to atone, because Radharani doesn't want to get close to Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna killed the demon. And the atonement is that Lord Krishna has to take bath in all the holy waters, holy rivers in the planet. And what the holy rivers, they did is that they all came and to assist Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna doesn't have to live Vrindavan. So yes, following Thakur Haridas' perfect example, both of them, they chanted this 300,000 names. They will also do parikrama of Govardhan Hill. Govardhan Hill, it takes about, it's about 22 kilometers. And it will take around between 5 to 6 hours of parikrama. Govardhan Hill, none different than Krishna. They will both worship Krishna every day, Lakshmi Priya, and Sachi Devi. So now, on her guru's order, Haridas Pandit, he instructed Sachi Devi to go to the home of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Now, this is in Jagannath Puri. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he became a devotee. He was a Brahmabadi, but then he became a topmost Vaishnava after meeting Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sachi Devi, what she did is that she restored Sarvabhauma's home, fixed it up, cleaned it up, and worship Sri Sham Rai. She worshipped Sri Ram Rai because this deity that was given to her by a Jaipur Brahmana. And then she started to give lecture. She started to give lecture in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And her classes, it says that her classes became so popular that she attracts many, many listeners, even from miles away. Many people, including Brahmanas and even the king, Mukunda Dev, they took initiation from Mother Sachi or Sachi Devi. So how did she get the name Gangamata? So it says that one day of the day of this appearance day of Ganga Sagar Mela, Sachi Devi was residing in Jagannath Puri and desired to take bath in the Ganges. And that night, the Ganges river flowed from the lotus feet of Lord Jagannath. And came to Mother Sachi's ashram. Entering Ganga Devi's waters, Sachi floated to the lotus feet of Jagannath Swami inside the temple. So the Ganga came from the lotus feet of Lord Jagannath, entered the ashram of Sachi, and what happened is that she started to float on this water, Ganga, coming from lotus feet of Jagannath, and then she entered somehow into the temple, the inner sanctum of the temple of Lord Jagannath. And when the pujaris opened the door, they saw Sachi Devi. They saw Sachi Devi. So they thought that she was a thief. And then immediately they put Sachi Devi in jail. And seeing this mistake, Lord Jagannath appeared in the dream simultaneously of the king of Puri and the head of Pujari. And then the Lord ordered them to release Sachi, and then they also took initiation from her. And from then on, she became Ganga Mata Goswamini. So in the Vaishnava tradition, usually the woman, they don't take disciples. But in our disciplic succession, we have this as an example. Gangamata Goswamini, or Mother Janava, the wife of Lord Nityananda. So they're very, very exemplary, cannot be imitated, but we can follow in their footsteps. We should also be austere, just like tomorrow is the Ekadasi, whereby this Ekadasi is considered as very, very special. This Ekadasi, this being observed. Tomorrow is like the Ekadasi, whereby, because Bhima is one of the Pandavas, 5 Pandavas, is known to be a voracious eater. He has a very huge, very big appetite. And therefore, he was finding it difficult, even during Ekadasis, to fast. That means he will eat also lots and lots of food. But then he was thinking that this is not good, because Ekadasi means day of Lord Hari, whereby the what you call Ekadasi Brat. Ekadasi Brat means there's no grains, no beans, no lentils. There is no nothing that will go against. Nothing that should be against the principles of Ekadasi. More hearing and chanting, no prajalpa. So this Ekadasi Brat is required. Usually there are many benedictions that one will receive if one performs Ekadasi. But for the Vaishnavas, we don't need all of these benedictions. All we need actually is to increase our love towards the Supreme Lord. So if you there's about 24 Ekadasis, and these Ekadasis, each and every Ekadasis is like very, very difficult to perform. But the real Ekadasi actually is that you fast the day before, and like at nighttime. Usually in ISKCON, nighttime before Ekadasi is like feast. they prepare for the next day. So to prepare for the next day, they want to have a big feast. And having a big feast means, the next day it's easier to perform Ekadasi. Because real Ekadasi means no sleeping. On the night of the Ekadasi, be awake, be engaged in hearing and chanting, more and more absorbed in the topics about the Supreme Lord's name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes. So it's not so easy, very difficult. Prabhupada gave us concession that we don't need to do that heavy tapasya, because if you cannot do your service during the whole day of Ekadasi, then what is the use? We have to do our service. We have to continue our service. Or if you are fasting, usually you'll have a headache or your stomach will be in pain, and then you just want to sleep all day also. Then that is not proper as well. We have book distributors, we have cooks, we have pujaris. So many things happening during the whole day. And if we fast, then without even water, that's very difficult. Especially now, it's still summertime, but it's cooling here in Delhi, where I am. It rained a little bit, so hopefully tomorrow also it'll be cooling. So Bhima was thinking how to do this, how to perform Ekadasi Brat, whereby I will be, if I do a full Ekadasi fast here, then I will be able to also atone for the other Ekadasis that I missed. Sometimes devotees, they have this tendency also that they miss Ekadasi, or they mistakenly that tomorrow is Ekadasi, but actually it is today. So they missed, or sometimes they mistakenly also, unknowingly, they will eat some grains during that Ekadasi day. So, Vyasadeva, they concluded here that somehow the best thing to do on that Pandab Nirjal Ekadasi, it's called Pandab Nirjal. Nir means no, and Jal means no water. Jal means water. So no water on this day. And the proper way how to observe Ekadasi is from sunrise to sunrise. Just like nowadays, sunrise is around 5:20 or 5:30 here in UP or in northern India. I don't know about in South India, what time is your sunrise, maybe close. So if you want to do that, especially that Nirjal Ekadasi, so maybe you can drink gallons and gallons of water before sunrise. And then after that, no more for the whole day till next day, sunrise, where you can break. And how to break the fast is that you break the fast by drinking water or lemon water, something like that. So anyone who will do this Ekadasi, Nirjal Ekadasi, is very auspicious. All your sins also will be washed away. But we will do this Ekadasi to increase our love. Then we can increase our japa, or chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Japamala. Just like Prabhupada says, on Ekadasis, we should chant 25 rounds. 25 rounds, which means that since tomorrow is Nirjal, so you can even chant 64 rounds. 64 rounds, that means 100,000 times the names of the Lord. Or you can chant the whole day, but it's very difficult because usually the heat, the body becomes so hot that it's very uncomfortable. But we do this tapasya to increase our love towards the Supreme Lord. It says that when you break, upon breaking the Ekadasi Brat, the next day, that means Dwadasi, it says that you can offer gold to Brahmanas. Now, if you have a little bit of gold, everyone has gold in India, even 1 tola. But nowadays, it's very difficult also to have gold. But at least you serve the Brahmanas, give them or serve them with pani, serve them with water. And in this way, don't eat too much immediately because you're fasting all day. Break the fast slowly, 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 and then you'll be able to fulfill that Ekadasi Brat with not so much difficulty. Ekadasi means less demand, the bodily demands. Be more austere, focus more on hearing and chanting, read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you can perform some practical devotional service, that is also should be done. So in this way, you'll be able to become successful in your Ekadasi Brat, Pandab Nirjal Ekadasi Brat. Just like the night before, be determined. And it's easy to do this Ekadasi Brat, especially if you are with other devotees. If many of you are doing this Pandab Nirjal Ekadasi, then it's easier. Alone, it's a little difficult. And usually I know in Vrindavan, it's a little easier because in the Holy Dham, it's like that. And because the heat, well, it's not so hot again, then they can chant outside. And if not, they will chant where there is a air conditioner. It's easier. And be up all night long. So yes, that is a Pandab Nirjal Ekadasi. If you break any of the 24 Ekadasi, so just by doing that special Ekadasi Brat, which is tomorrow, then everything will be covered. Everything will be nullified. And lastly, today is the appearance day of Srimad Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord of the highest order. He's a Uttama Bhakta. He's a Mahabhagavat. And again, usually the Mahabhagavat, they don't care for any material things. They don't care for anything at all except service of the Supreme Lord. He says that he doesn't have any spot of desire for name and fame. That they don't even know where he came from, or who's his father, who's his mother. But he's very proficient. Prolific, very expert in the Shastra, that even at the young age, he learned all of this different rhetoric, nyaya, logic. He knows how to argue. He knows how to do debate and to protect the Vaishnava Siddhanta. So the exact location of his birth is unknown, but some says he took birth in village near Baleswar, neighboring village of Rimuna. This may sound familiar to some of you. Rimuna is very famous, especially of this Madhavendra Puri's pastimes, where he found that there is a deity there, Gopinath, and they offer sweet rice every night. And somehow he thought that also, I would like to offer this to my Gopal, who is in Govardhan, in Vrindavan. So just by this thought, he was thinking that, oh, I made an aparad, because, you know, they have to offer first to the Lord this 12 cups of sweet rice, kheer, amrita. But Gopinath, he hid 1 cup of kheer for his devotee, Madhavendra Puri, that in the night, in the dream, the head pujari was called by Gopinath to give this 1 cup of sweet rice that he hid under his cloth. So the pujari woke up, he went to the altar, and when he lifted the cloth of Gopinath, he saw 1 cup of sweet rice, and he told, Gopinath says, I have my devotee, his name is Madhavendra Puri, you give this to him. So from that day on, the deity is known as Kirchor Gopinath, the deity who stole sweet rice for his devotee. So it says that, yes, he, in the early part of the 18th century, he appeared, this Baladev Vidyabhusan. So even at an early age, he knows, he learned Sanskrit grammar, poetry, rhetoric, and logic. And then after this, he became expert with all of this. After becoming expert in all of this facets or different ways how to study Sanskrit, so he went for places of pilgrimage. He became actually like Digvijay. Digvijay means he's a conqueror. He's very learned, and wherever he goes, he would conquer through knowledge. Through knowledge. So he went to different places, wandering here and there, and for some time visiting many holy places. And then during his travel in the South India, he came upon to a temple of Tattvavadis, followers of Madhva Acharya. And then later on, he met his guru, Srimad Radha Damodar Goswami. Our line of disciplic succession is this: Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya. So Lord Brahma to Madhva Acharya, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is our disciplic succession. Gaudiya means Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he traveled all over the place, and somehow he became a disciple of Sri Radha Damodar Goswami. And both of them, they discuss about the principles of devotional service. And Sri Radha Damodar Goswami instructed Baladev on the subject of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes of mercy and his teachings of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Our lineage is so much wealth. Our wealth is about knowledge about the Supreme Absolute Truth. Wealth that cannot be taken by anybody if you have it, and the more you distribute to others, then the more is being replenished by the Supreme Lord, and it becomes unlimited also. The more you give, the more you receive this knowledge. The Brahmanas, they give charity, but usually Brahmanas, they are poor. So what kind of charity do they give? They give knowledge, priceless knowledge, matchless gifts, this knowledge. So Sri Radha Damodar Goswami, he knows the heart of Sri Baladev Vidyabhusan. And after hearing from him, for a few days, he took initiation from him. He understood that, yes, he is my spiritual master. And then Radha Damodar Goswami, he also sent him to Vrindavan. And then in Vrindavan, he met Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is a little bit old at that time now, he's getting old. And then in Jaipur, the servants there, some Ramanandis, followers of Sri Vaishnavas, Ramanandis, they said that to the king that these followers of Gaudiya Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, they're not authentic. They're not bona fide because there is no explanation, or there is no book, thesis, the explanation or commentary and the Vedanta Sutra. So a challenge was made, and that unless they can prove that they have the commentary and the Vedanta Sutra, then they cannot worship Govindaji. They cannot worship the Govindaji. So the king is in dilemma now. He does not know what to do. He has to follow somehow the Ramanandis. If the Gaudiya Vaishnavas cannot prove, then they cannot worship Govindaji. They're being authentic or bona fide sampradaya will not be there. So the king, he sent the king of Jaipur, yes, he sent a message to Vrindavan, and it reached Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur. But Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur is a little bit immobilized. He's not be able to travel, and he's getting old. So he sent Baladev Vidyabhusan, because of being old and infirm, it was impossible for him to make this very long journey to Jaipur. In those days, it's very difficult to travel. They travel through bullock carts or by walking. So he sent his disciple, Srila Baladev, and yes, Srila Baladev, then they had the discussion, they have a debate, and it is concluded, even though Baladev Vidyabhusan says that Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary and the Vedanta Sutra, the Ramanandis, they don't accept this. It says here, the Bhagavatam itself claims that it is the Bhashyanam Brahmasutranam, the natural commentary on the Vedanta. And this is the basis, evidence given by Srila Jiva Goswami in Sat Sandarbha. Srila Jiva Goswami is the most, the greatest philosopher of all time. He wrote many books, especially the Sat Sandarbha, or the 6 Sandarbhas, Priti Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha. This Sandarbhas, the treatise, explains ultimately that Krishna is Tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Ramanandis, they don't accept this. So Ramanandis, they gave Baladev a few days to show the evidence that there is a commentary of the Vedanta Sutra. But then, somehow or other, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, he prayed to Govindaji. He went to the temple of Shri Govinda, the deities of Srila Rupa Goswami. After offering the eightfold obeisances, that means dandabat. Dandabat means all of the limbs of the body fall flat like a stick, offering obeisances. So he related everything that's been taking place, and he asked Govindaji to please help. And Govindaji, again, at nighttime, in a dream. Usually the deities appears in the dreams. And when you dream of the deities, when you dream of the spiritual master, when you dream of Srila Prabhupada, this is not ordinary dreams. These are spiritual dreams. So, yes. So he says, Govindaji says to him that you must compose the commentary. The commentary will be personally sanctioned by me. No one will be able to find any fault in it. So within few days, Baladev, he composed this commentary called Govinda Bhashyam. And he presented it to the king, and he presented it to the Ramanadis, followers in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, and lo and behold, they cannot find any faults into this. And seeing this in the dream, Baladev became very, very happy in his heart. Very, very happy. Cannot understand how the Supreme Lord, by just meditating on the lotus feet of Govindaji, he began writing this different commentary, explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. And then when the king and the Ramanandis read it, they cannot find any fault. So there is a prayer here. I would like to recite it to you, and then we will end after this. Ekameva pram tatvam vachaya vachaka babhaka vachyak sarveshvaro devo vachaka prano bhavit matsya kurma adibhir rupay yata vacho bahur bhavit vachakopi tatartadi babad badhur udhiryate Adhyantara hittatvena swayam nityam prakirtite Abhirbhava tirubhavao shatamasya yuge yuge. The one absolute truth has two categories, the name Krishna and the name Om, Parameshwar. Sri Krishna, the absolute person, is the name. Pranava or Omkar Om is the name. The name or Parameshwar, Sri Krishna, reveals himself in different forms as Matsya, Kurma, and many other forms. In the same way, the name of the Supreme Lord expands into many different forms, such as the transcendental syllable Om, the Gayatri Mantram, and the Vedas themselves. There is no limit to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has no beginning and no end. As a consequence, his glorification is also eternal. He appears within this material world, stays for some time, and again disappears according to his own sweet will. So our lineage, the disciplic succession, is very rich in knowledge. And there is this nine truth that in our philosophy that even Srila Madhvacharya has taught. Krishna, who is known as Hari, is the Supreme Lord, the Absolute. This is the Tattva, Mula Tattva. The Supreme Lord may be known through the Vedas. The material world is real. Jivas or souls are different from the Supreme Lord. The Jivas are by nature servants of the Supreme Lord. There are two categories of Jivas, liberated and illusion. Liberation means attaining the lotus feet of Krishna, that is entering into an eternal relationship of service to the Supreme Lord. Pure devotional service is the cause of this relationship, and the truth may be known through direct perception, inference, and Vedic authority. These very principles were taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's just also Das Mula. Das Mula Tattva. So we can have so many things to say with this knowledge, or this 9 knowledge or 10 processes of tattva, but we don't have much time. That's why Baladev was given the title Vidya Bhushan, because his knowledge or intelligence is like a decoration, it's like an ornament, Bhushana, Vidya Bhushana. So we stop here. There's so much more to say about the character, personality of Srila Vidya Bhusan. His conclusion is like jewel. That's why it's called Vidya Bhusan, Siddhanta Ratna. So we'll stop here. I'm sorry for going over time. I hope many of you are still there. Do you have any other points or any other questions? Please let us know.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Devotees can post your questions, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute you. You can ask questions directly to Maharaj, or you can post your questions on chat box. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj. We're just waiting for devotees to respond, Maharaj. Maharaj, meanwhile, the questions come. You had mentioned about this aspect of the Ekadashi. Throughout the night, we should be awake and we should render devotional service like chanting and hearing. So if a devotee does that and then the next day, he is not able to do any service, and is that okay, or it is?
Well, you can take a little rest the next day, but don't sleep the whole day. Then that defeats the whole. Usually Dwadasi also is powerful. Very powerful, Dwadasi. It is as powerful as Ekadasi. It doesn't mean the next day you enjoy because you perform your tapasya the whole day of Nirjal Ekadasi. Then the next day you eat many things. You'll get sick. Don't put so much in your system, or if you sleep the whole day long and not be able to perform your service, then that is not good as well. That is not ideal. So the whole purpose of performing tapasya is, as I said, is to increase your love towards Krishna, but don't do it artificially. Some people who are sick, they have, disease. It's like old people, children. If they cannot do it, they don't need to do it. But this, especially for those who are physically strong and mentally strong, because your mind is the question here. Spiritually, you have to be, of course, strong. You become spiritually strong if you perform this tapasya and Nirjal Ekadasi. It's a great austerity, and the reward ultimately is that you will attain love of God. That is the purpose. Nothing else. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj.
Don't do it artificially, as I mentioned, because that will defeat the purpose of your performing Ekadasi. Main thing is we have to hear more and chant more. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, one more question. This we see that Govinda Bhashya is specifically spoken by Lord Govinda Dev, and
Yes.
it is a very great revelation. So why in ISKCON we don't give so much importance to that Bhashya, that book?
Well, because we have the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave more emphasis on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, Baladev Vidya Bhushan came after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But whatever is in the Bhagavatam is concisely mentioned in the Govinda Bhashya. Okay?
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you.
So no need. If we focus, the king, Raja Vidya, Raja Guyam, the king, Grantaraj is Srimad Bhagavatam. So everything is included in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you read Bhagavatam daily, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, that is also service to the Supreme Lord in his book form. Krishna came in Kali Yuga in the form of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. And also we should serve the person Bhagavat, our spiritual master. Then the conclusion of the Govinda Bhasham is there, if you follow that. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, there is one question in the chat box.
Sure.
I'll just read it out, Maharaj. I have realized that whatever I do, whenever I do some austerities, minimum, whether I do in a small way or if I have spent long time hearing the lectures or do DT worship, after all this activity, then I feel that I deserve to watch some TV. Before doing my prayers, I feel I shouldn't do anything else. But after I complete my prayers, I'm happy and forget my resolution. So, how to take care of this slippage?
Well, that's why you need to have a priority. See, we were discussing it yesterday. The ear is the gateway towards the spiritual world. We have to use properly our senses. In attaining full Krishna consciousness, we have to use them properly. We use the tongue to vibrate the holy name of the Lord, only to taste Krishna Prasad. We should use our ears only to see the beautiful form of the Lord or the devotees, or to read Srimad Bhagavatam. The sense of smell, we should also use properly to smell the offerings of flowers and incense to the Supreme Lord. Touch, if we have deities at home, we should use them. Or if you go to the temple, use your hands in cleaning the temple, washing the Lord's plates, or in the kitchen, clean the kitchen of the Lord. But especially the ears is very, very important. Right now, we don't see Krishna through our eyes. We appreciate him, of course. We are attracted to his beautiful form, but we can see more Krishna through hearing. And through hearing, we get purified. Our hearts becomes cleansed by repetitive hearing the subject matters, the name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So don't be distracted. Of course, because of our previous lifetime, we still have so many material desires, we want to hear news, world news, or spend hours and hours, like about news or watching television or watching videos or watching movies, Bollywood movies and so on. But this will not help us to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. Huh? So don't waste your time. There's so much things to do in Krishna consciousness besides wasting your time. It will not help you. So always think that, why am I wasting my time with this television or social media? Let me just focus. Let me just read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me chant more. Let me do some service, practical service, associate with the devotees, with the Vaishnavas. So in this way, yes, it's natural to have these feelings, to be distracted, because we have this disease for many, many lifetimes. To be pure, to become purified in one lifetime, you have to do a lot of work, a lot of tapasya, a lot of determination. You need a lot of inspiration, and everything is provided to us by Srila Prabhupada. Whatever we need to become Krishna conscious, everything is available. But what is your priority? You want to stay a little longer in the material world and suffer more repeated birth and death? That is fine. That is your choice. But if your priority ultimately is to get out of this world in this lifetime, then you have to be intelligent. You have to properly use your senses accordingly. Otherwise, you give an inch to Maya, but she will take a mile. She will give you a mile. A little bit, you say, oh, a little bit of Maya, but no, that little bit actually becomes very, very big, because this is Maya's duty, to bind us. She's deluding energy to put us into illusion and to put us here, bind us. And she's a devotee, she's a Vaishnavi. So how can she do that? Yes, we have to prove to her that we are actually fully Krishna conscious. Then she will leave us alone. Then you'll become free. Don't be a prisoner of your senses by misusing your senses for sense enjoyment. That is not freedom. Real freedom means using everything for the pleasure of Sri, Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, there is another question. One devotee is asking, should we read Chaitanya Charitamrita only after reading Bhagavatam, or can we read Chaitanya Charitamrita before? Means this devotee is having some nice attachment to some pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially discussions between Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Sure. You can read simultaneously, but reading also means studying. We don't read just for the sake of reading, but we read trying to understand the import of Srila Prabhupada's purport or the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So it is easier to understand this when you read them or study them with other Vaishnavas, those who can explain to you, because some of them are very deep. There's a tendency that you may misunderstand what is Prabhupada's telling us or Prabhupada's explanations. Even though it is the Chaitanya Charitamrita is the topmost, is the doctorate level. I know one devotee, he reads like so many books all at the same time, like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Prabhupada's books are absolute. But some are very, very difficult to understand if no one is guiding you. No one is explaining you. So you be very careful. It's like in the early days when Chaitanya Charitamrita came, and there's the topics about the gopis and the rasa dance. So in America, they secretly they will read, and they call themselves the Gopi Baba Club. Gopi Baba Club. So when Prabhupada get into the attention of Srila Prabhupada, he heard about this. He stopped that. Stop that. This is not proper. So reading Prabhupada's books, they're very simple, they're very practical, but when it comes to very, very esoteric understanding, it becomes very difficult. It's like 10 canto, the 5 chapters of the Rasa Lila dance. I mean, of course, it says that if you want to get rid of your lusty desires, you read this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Rasa Lila dance. But then if you don't have guidance, you can easily misunderstood or misunderstand this, and you will compare yourself with Krishna. I should also enjoy like Krishna. I should also enjoy many, many girls. So you must be careful. But it's okay, you can read. There is a teachings of Lord Chaitanya also, the summary study of the instructions, Lord Chaitanya's Siksha, and I believe Ramananda Roy's teaching is there also. So you should read with the devotees. That'll be easier to understand, okay? You can read, no problem.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. The next question is, how can we develop forgiveness? Many times we may tolerate externally, but there may be resentment within. How to overcome this?
Yes. To ask forgiveness is easier than to forgive. Well, you can only forgive someone if you don't have any false ego. The problem here is that you are thinking who is right, but we should be thinking what is right. It's 2 different things. Who is right or what is right. We should be forgiving. This is the natural, one of the qualities of a Vaishnava, forgiveness. They know that they're not this body. They understand that they're servants of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, there is no more false ego. We don't forgive because we think of the bodily, under the bodily platform. Someone may hurt us, but the soul cannot be cut into pieces. Our ego may be hurt, but we are not the ego. We are spirit soul, and no one can hurt the spirit soul. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, it cannot be cut into pieces, it cannot be burned by fire, cannot be withered by the wind, cannot be wet by water. It's eternally full of knowledge and bliss, eternally, but somehow we're covered up with the material energy, namely modes of passion and ignorance, mostly, and maybe a little bit of goodness. So if you're in the mode of goodness, a little bit easier to forgive. But if you're in the mode of passion and ignorance, I know someone, that person cannot forgive the other person. Even though that person, or the person who needs to be forgiven is a family member. Brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers and children, they don't forgive each other. You know anyone like that? Because that is in the bodily platform. Ultimately, if you understand you're not the body, you cannot be hurt by anyone. And you know the devotees, the Vaishnavas, genuine Vaishnava, if someone offend them, they don't take any offense. And even before, let's say somebody offended them and the person who offended them they realize that, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, let me ask for forgiveness. Even before the person who offended them asked to be forgiven, the Vaishnava already have forgiven them ahead of time. Because they will think also, oh, I must have done something in the past. That's why this happened to me. I must have done something in the past. That's why this person, seemingly, he offended me. He's giving me a hard time. And this happened with Prabhupada in Montreal. He was in Montreal for a few months while he's arranging for his green card for America. And there was this one Hindu gentleman, and the Hindu gentleman, he was with Prabhupada in many, many programs. But last few days, of the last program that Prabhupada did, that Hindu gentleman started to criticize Prabhupada. He says, why are you always saying like this? Why are you like that? Why are you like this? So before Prabhupada left, going back to America, he asked one of his disciples, go and look for this Hindu gentleman. And the disciple says, he asked Prabhupada, why Prabhupada? I want to ask for forgiveness. I must have done something in my past life to him, right? So the disciple was thinking, what? Prabhupada would like to look for him, to find him, to meet him. So this is the mood of the Vaishnava. Learn to forgive and forget. Of course, for the Vaishnava, he doesn't take any offenses. But the Vaishnava will be angry if you offend the other Vaishnavas, knowingly that you offend the other Vaishnavas, or you offend, criticize, or blaspheme the deities. Then he'll get angry. But for himself, he doesn't care. Okay? Anything else?
Maharaj, thank you very much, Maharaj, for your kind time. So, like, we got so many, a few other questions are there, but I think now we will close this question answer session, and it's by your inspiration we will be able to do our Nirjala Ekadashi with proper focus and proper attitude. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for inspiring us. Hare Krishna.
We can have a question and answer session with you. I don't mind. I can spend more time some other day. Just question and answer. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
I would like to meet you all and see you all. Can you all turn on your video so I can have darshan of all your lotus faces?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
And don't use mask. If there's one devotee, Deepak, I don't see your face. You're wearing mask. Yeah, now I can see you. Okay. Jai. Nice to see the devotees from Bengaluru. So hope to see you again, okay? All of you. And next time we can have just a question and answers session. Jai. Shri ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhus. Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bye-bye.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for spending your time with us. We are really encouraged and inspired with your divine association.
Hare Krishna.
Association. Thank you very much. Yourself. I would like to thank Sri Gaur Prabhu for organizing this. Thank you, Sri Gaur Prabhu.
Okay.
As we move on to the next part of announcements, yes, this weekend has been really, really amazing So yesterday morning we started with a session from our Kesab Murari Prabhu, like it was so nectarian, Sundar, Sumadhur, Saral, how beautifully he really said the amazing pastimes, and we really look forward to those Hindi Kathamrita sessions. Saturday, Shanivar ka Hindi Katha. We'll try to do it as much as possible. And yes, we're continuing our Saturday evening Srila Prabhupada series, the Founder Acharya series with Suresh Prabhu. Yesterday also he very nicely talked about how we changed from the what Prabhupada calls it third class announcement from Swamiji to Srila Prabhupada. So we heard so many beautiful pastimes, how the Pranati Mantra came and so on. So we are very grateful once again to Prabhuji for spending his on a Saturday evening and all the devotees also to join this wonderful session so that we can be more Prabhupada consciousness and understand importance of Srila Prabhupada in our life on this 125th Prabhupada's anniversary. And I would really like to now,
Hare Krishna.
Harikshit,
So,
you will take it over.
yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So we have now our wonderful cooks of Bhakti Center. Last 1 month, they have been like every single day, huge cooking operation has been going on for this COVID food relief, and they have been very, very happily serving, throughout all this time. So just to honor them, so we are presenting a little gift to them. So like may Srila Prabhupada and all the Vaishnavas bless them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. It's not an easy task for so many days and weeks preparing prasadam for more than 150 or 180 devotees. So we have been distributing this COVID like free meal program. And today is the last day because things have opened up. Things are getting better now. So today will be the last day. But definitely, usually we kind of do some food prasadam distribution in our basement as well, on the road as well. So that will continue, and we are also coming up with some innovative ideas how we can continue this prasadam distribution. Like as Prabhuji always says, Harinam distribution, book distribution, prasadam distribution. These are the 3 pillars of Srila Prabhupada's movement, and would really like to continue as much as possible. So thank you. And not only our cook Prabhujis, but also all the devotees as well, who really help in packing and vegetable cutting and distributing and also contributing towards this program. So I'd really like to thank everybody for their contribution. And we are continuing our Sravanam. Yes, yesterday morning we had a wonderful program. Yesterday evening we had with Suresh Prabhu. Today once again a beautiful opportunity to hear from Maharaj. And then yes, we want to continue because this is a special weekend, and of course for a devotee every day is special. Yes, we will also have a one more very, very divine association on this Panihati day. That's coming on Wednesday. Wednesday is a Panihati. It's a beautiful pastime that happened on the bank of Ganga. How Nityananda Prabhu showered his blessings to Raghunath Das Goswami. And we'll be hearing that from Sarva Bhauma Prabhu. So he is known for his wonderful, humorous pastimes, how he shares it with so much love, so much of conviction. So we're very fortunate to have with us Sarvabhauma Prabhu on Wednesday evening. So Wednesday evening we'll have it Sarvabhauma. And yes, tomorrow is the day like most devotees really look forward to. Like in the beginning of the Vaishnava calendar, they say, okay, when is the Pandava Nirjala Ekadasi coming? So that we really prepare for the whole year. Yes, definitely. It's a very purifying day, right? Yes, Maharaj was saying earlier how we should perform some austerities for the pleasure of Lord, not just for the we do austerities to claim ourselves that right? We can do this, or we are so austere, but for the pleasure of the Lord. And usually, yes, once you talk of Nirjala Ekadasi, the day before or the week before, or right, we start thinking, how will we survive without water? How will we survive, right, without prasadam? But our acharyas are like, as Maharaj was saying, that instead of getting prasadam consciousness or water consciousness, now we can be really Krishna consciousness. We should really pray that, oh Krishna, since millions of lifetimes, millions of species that I have stayed away from you, how I have been staying, right? Yes, like Prabhupada with the fish out of the water. I have been really staying so long away from you. Please give us your the test for the holy name, test for the serving the devotee, test for studying scriptures, and so how we can really bring that mood and bring that consciousness, right, in performing. So instead of being right prasadam or jal consciousness, you can be Krishna consciousness throughout the day. When you positively engage, definitely it is possible. And to make it happen, what we are planning is that we are planning to chant all the devotees together from our IBC Whitefield. So we'll have an extended japa session, and would request the devotees. I know some devotees even chant 192 rounds or 128 rounds on this day, right? Or they do more bhajan, more studying. And preferably, we should do it group way. So yes, we are planning to have at least group chanting tomorrow morning. So we request all the devotees to please join as much as possible for this chanting session, and also we'll plan some bhajan and kirtan as well throughout the day or evening. We'll communicate that. And yes, it's also an opportunity to purify ourselves, our belongings, and especially on the Ekadasi or the other six, also a great opportunity for us to contribute to this our project, our land project that we're coming up. So to request the devotees or encourage the near and dear ones to contribute towards this temple land project that's coming up. So thank you very much. So now would like to thank all the devotees for joining all these wonderful programs. So now we'll go back to Bhakti Center for Darshan Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, we're starting. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Alada Nada Daine. Alada Nada Daine. Shilatankana Kalaye. Shilatankana Kalaye. Simha Paratona Simha. Paratona Simha. Paratona Simha. Yato Yato Yamita Tuna Simha. Yato Yato Yamita Tuna Simha. Daena Simha. Daena Simha. Daena Simha. Daena Simha. Simha Madhya Sharanam Tapati. Narasimha Madhya Sharanam Tapati. Hiranyakashipu Tanobhya Keshavadirna Naraharirupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare
श्रोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की।